Hello and welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Rich. I'm your host, Shamina Taylor. So, what does being unapologetically rich really mean? And how much money do you want? What does it mean to have endless amounts of cash? Like, if you showed up tomorrow and you had an ATM just directly for you that you can go to at any time, you knew an endless amount of money would be coming in. How would you show up? How would you live your life? What decisions would you make? What would you stop doing right now? What would you do differently? I always ask this question because I think that people think the having of money, things would change. But what if you started acting as if you had the money now? And get into that state now. Okay, but that's really hard, Shamina. And when I'm talking about money, I'm talking about like you might be needing a little bit of money, or maybe you might be needing a lot of money, or maybe you just might be going to that next income level. Maybe you're ready to make $5, $10 million or $1 million or whatever it is, $500,000. I remember when I thought like $400,000 a year was a lot of money, or even 500,000. And now like even $1 million a year it's nice, but it's like, my idea of how much money or what's a lot of money has really expanded because I've been exposed to it now. So $1 million a month. Well, yeah, of course, that's a great amount of money, but $1 million a year to me now seems like such the norm, even though that's something that it's coveted by everybody else. So what's your definition of it? What does that mean? And how would you live? The reason why I ask this is because I want people to understand that it is so much easier to get connected to the amount of money that you want than you think. And today on my Millionaire Club, I'll just give you a snippet of what I talked about. I feel like a lot of people think that the things that they want or the money that they want is so out of reach. A lot of the times, people will say they don't have money to do XYZ, but actually they do have the money. They're just not allocating the funds to the thing because they've made a determination that this thing was too expensive, or that, which a word I can't stand and I don't use, something's too expensive, or they don't deserve it because they can't justify the purchase, or it seems frivolous, or what a waste of money, and that they should never go do those things. But in fact, the thing that they're calling frivolous or a waste of money is a thing that's actually going to put them in a state and a vibrational frequency of more is coming, or of, I'm deserving of all the things that I want in the world and bring me more, right? It's feeding that desire. And so when I tell people to say, well, what if you had all the money in the world? How would you show up? What would you do? Sometimes people are stumped because they're like, I don't know, I'd be living more of what I'm doing now with no bills. Okay, so that's it. That's all you want to do. This is it. This is as far as you want to go. Well, I like my car. You don't want another car? Well, I guess I get another car. But so, are you even desiring to go bigger? Or are you just complacent to where you are? Right? Because that's what it looks like to me. And that's not saying that you're not happy and enjoying where you are, but this is where the catch-22 comes in. Because it's like, do you still desire more, or do you be happy where we can always be excited where we are right now because I think that's important, being grateful for it. But I don't think it's a bad thing to desire more. If you desire more, it's always stretching you to the next. Some people would say, desiring more things or desiring more physical things is greedy, right? Okay, well, that's what that person is assigned meaning to. They called it greed. So they want to stay right where they are. Perfectly fine. You do that. You do you. How about somebody who desires to buy a jet and wants to own a jet because, they're paying for, 5 or 6 plane tickets at a time every time their family travels? Maybe a jet is a great idea, or getting a jet membership. I don't know. But other people will say, well, that's a waste of money. So it's all dependent on what you desire. But if the person who owns a jet, do you think that they sat there and go, well, you know what? I'm just going to fly on United for the rest of my life, and that's it. No, they desired a jet, and that's why the jet's in their life. Someone who desired to travel the world, the desire was there. So, and then they went and took action towards it, and now they're traveling the world. So it's like, are you really expanding where you could be living right now, or you're just complacent? There's different things. You could be perfectly happy where you are and never want to go anywhere else, never want anything else. A lot of people say, I want for nothing. That's amazing. It's not saying you want for anything. It's desire. Wanting and desire, two different things. I want means I don't have, and it means a lack. I desire means, okay, wouldn't it be nice? Like, oh gosh, this thing coming along. Now, the desire could show up in getting do traveling around the world. It could be speaking in front of stages. It could be like having a New York Times bestselling book. It could be, whatever it is. It's something from your soul that's coming in that like, this would be so amazing if I had it, right? But if you show up every day with not that energy and not taking any steps towards it or even making room for it to come in, then you're just going to keep getting what you're getting, right? So I mentioned on another episode about how I manifested the G-Wagon, and I made space for it in my garage. I cleaned out the garage to make space for the car that I didn't even have yet, that I hadn't even made any payments on. Nothing. Like I didn't buy it yet. I didn't pay for it. And I didn't put a deposit down, nothing. But I knew that that's a car that I wanted. I kept talking about it like it was my car, to the point one of my son's friends said, "Where's your mom's G-Wagon?" Like people were sending me pictures of my G-Wagon, of a G-Wagon, saying, "Here's your G-Wagon," because I made it so real in my life that of course it was going to show up, right? Of course it was coming. It was already done. I was talking about it as if it was done. I made room for it. But that was me acting as if the ATM was there inside my living room. I'd have as much money as I want. I had the money in my account to pay for it cash. So I knew that, but that's a lot of money to be putting $300,000. Like I was saying this today in my millionaire club, I could have went and bought, a single family home or I could bought a couple of them and put the money into that and then get the income from it and then live off of the income, which is, really good to do, from your rental property, and then live off of that and let the houses gain equity. I still can. However, the way that vehicle makes me feel, and it's a desire that I've had for a long time, I had to feed it. I had to feed it with something that was manifesting. It was what I bring into my life. I was talking about it. I fed it. And because I fed it, millions came afterwards. Like I literally can look down on my books and show you how it happened because I allowed myself to be in the more. Well, if my money was tied up into a safe investment or into this property, great, but I wouldn't feel that level of wealth as if I would when I would drove my G-Wagon. It's just different. That's all. But it moved me faster to the things that I wanted. And now I can go buy those properties still because I have more money, because more money came in. Like so much more money came in after I bought the G-Wagon. So it's how you look at feeding that desire. But if you're living within the lines and you're very complacent and you feel like people, one guy told me that was crazy that I bought the car and I spent cash on it. He said he was crazy. Some people might have called it stupid. People have their opinion, but that's their opinion. And I know that people who make, 20, 40, 50 million, 60 million a year, they're buying whatever they want because they can. I am doing that now, right? Because I can. And so my 20, $50 million a year version of me, she's not sitting here going, "Well, that's a waste of money." It's I'm living in this moment and it's making me feel this way. Like, I can make as much money as I want. And so I have a very different way of teaching about wealth, but your business has to be set up to, be able to funnel this type of wealth, right? Or your business or wherever your money's coming in, whatever your money slides are. For me, my money slides are multiple streams of income. And so as you're getting into this state and you're allowing yourself to live in if I had as much money in the world, what would I do with it? Then more money's going to come to you. But if you're living in the lack, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is a waste of money. This is terrible. This is, the money's going to go away. It's never coming back again." You're not living with the belief that there's an ATM in your living room. You're living with the belief that there's only money that came in and that's it. That's forever. That's all you're ever going to get. And unfortunately, that's how people live all the time. They think that's all the money that's ever going to come to them in the entire world and it's over. End of story. That limited thinking is why people are stuck. That's why they have to wait to see how much money they have to make a decision. Well, I'll see how much money I have. I'll see how much money I have. I had a friend that would always say that, "Well, I don't have enough money to go out." I had to stop hanging out with her because everything was always controlled by how much money she had. And so it's not that she wanted to go. Even if I offered to pay, it was like, "Well, I don't have enough money. I can't do that. I don't have enough money. I have enough money. I have enough money." But then she would be spending, $600 or $700 on skincare. You have money. Stop saying you don't have money. And she's like, well, I can go somewhere, but I only have $22 to spend somewhere. Okay, well then go do that. It was just the limit was so much and the scarcity was so much. That's what she kept reaffirming in her life over and over and over again. It's like, you don't want to be around that because that's like a disease and it's contagious, right? You don't want to be around people who are thinking like that. I want people to think like the ATMs in their living room. Obviously, they're doing something towards it. They're not just sitting there manifesting and clicking their heels and rubbing a genie lamp, right? And I heard people can do that too. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about live in the end. If you had all the money and the wealth in the world, what would you do and how would you show up? If you don't expand yourself into this mindset, into this energy, into this frequency, you are going to be living so below what you could possibly create in your life because you're living with conditions. You're living with ceilings. You're living with limits. You're living with, this is all I should have because this is all I can see right now. You're not living in the, well, what possibly else could come about. What about the jet? What about the trip around the world? Whatever it is you're looking for. What about the Hermes bag or whatever it is you want? The diamond ring, the whatever. But you have to get into the expansion of what it is. But if you live in the limits, guess what? You're going to get the limits. If you live with, oh, this is all it can be, you're going to get what's all it can be. In my Millionaire Club, I help you see and identify where your limits are because you shouldn't have any limits. You should be living in the end. What is it? All the things that you want. And this is where people go, well, how's it going to happen? I don't have that money. That's not your problem. Your problem is to talk about it as if you have that G-Wagon. You're making room in the garage. You are driving your car right now as if it's a G-Wagon. You're feeling it. You're in it. You're watching it through your eyes. You're living this reality as if it is now. And this is so imperative that you run your business this way too. You run your life this way because this is the expansiveness energy. You know, people go to work and they go to their jobs or they go to they run their businesses with such a limited mindset. Guess what? That is limited. I saw a guy post on Facebook that he had to turn off his money notifications because they were too much. I was like, bro, don't you like money? He's like, oh, I love it, but it was too much. I kept looking at it. I'm like, well, whatever we watch grows. So, but he assigned a money notification as being a bad thing. So of course it's not going to, be a good thing in his life, where I'm like, why is it a bad thing? Look into that. How about you look into that? Why do you think it's a bad thing to get a money notification? Because in my world, when you get a money notification, you do the money dance. Like, hello, the money's here. The money's here. Hello, more, bring more. Like every time, doesn't matter if it's $8.88 that pings through my phone. I am happy. I am excited. I am jumping for joy. That or $3,500 payment, or I've got a wire for $40,000, whatever it is. I'm excited about it because I am celebrating that money coming in. And whatever you celebrate gets replicated. And so for dude over here who comes from, I don't know, I think it's like England or he's Irish, they already have a limited thinking over there. They already think in a limited way. They already think that, people shouldn't talk about their money. He's transferring that to his business now. And let me tell you, even though this guy probably makes a lot of money in his business, he can make so much more if you just dug into why he doesn't want to see his money notifications. Like, why don't you want that? So think about all the things where you're limiting yourself. Where are you limiting yourself? What are you doing here that's going to stop the flow? Because you should be having that ATM right in your living room right now. You want to go do something? Go boop, 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 boop. Go get that money out. That was the ATM sound. Beep, 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 beep. Then get that cash. Because if you allow yourself to be in that state, guess what? It'll show up. I have had that money come over 20 times since from my G-Wagon 2 years ago. Let me tell you, the cash has come in. I'm not afraid to spend it, to use it, to invest it, because I know it's always there for me. It's always going to come back. I am supported by money. I want you to really feel into that. Say it with me. I'm supported by money. I'm always supported by money. You get into that vibe. Let me tell you, you're going to have that ATM in your living room in no time. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, go leave your girl a review, man. I'm looking for some reviews. Also, if you have not joined our Quantum Woman Facebook group, go ahead. Also, if you have a business, we have a 3-day training coming up, and this training is going to help you have your highest cash months. It's a 3-day training. And go ahead and schedule and come and join us for the 3 days. We're going to show you how to have your highest cash months. Listen, I went from having my highest cash month, like what I made in a year, I've made in a day so many times right now. It's insane. I want to show people how they can quantum leap their cash and how they can quantum leap their businesses. Because when you get the money coming in faster with less time and less effort, let's go. You can start making more. Okay, so go join that masterclass, right? It's a great masterclass. It's 3 days. The link should be in the bio. Also, if you have not gone ahead and got my book, Unlocking the Quantum Woman, go ahead and grab it. It will be a game changer for you. This book is going to really help you really open up to see where maybe you could be expanding into the more, shift your consciousness into allowing yourself to receive more, finding out if there are any limits or ceilings that you can remove. There's a workbook in there too. Do the workbook. And if you have not subscribed to this podcast yet, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you love the book, leave me a review on Amazon. All right. I love you. I hope you love this. Let's go at that ATM. Let's boop, 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 boop. Stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.